About the chakra system today. I have done a few articles on the chakra system. That article that I did about 20 years plus ago can be found on chatafrica.com. I'm not sure the site is up at the moment, but I will be checking and be bringing back up the site again after this presentation. So the presentation that we're going to be doing today, we'll be talking about the chakras and the applications of the chakras. Chakra system basically, a system of a spiritual system that is attached to our physical being, that is part of what is attached to our physical being. It is actually a definition. So it's, to be more to put more clarity to the chakra system. It is not really a physical thing to say per se. So it is a system, that we have defined, to explain energy centers, that are located within, our human construct. So there are 7 major chakra systems. There are more chakra systems, but we tend to speak and talk about and study the 7 major chakra system. It is actually enough to study this 7 major chakra system to be able to connect to the other chakra system, because as soon as you are able to work on this 7 major chakra system, you will automatically be connecting to the other chakra system. I speak when we speak of chakra system being blocked or you connecting to a chakra system, it is just a matter of speaking, because we are always connected to our chakra system. Because it's just a matter of trying to make things understandable. Sort of like the way we personify stories, of animals, telling stories of animals speaking, when we know that animals don't speak, as such. So it's just a similar way. So, the chakra system is a descriptive phenomenon that you find in the body system, that you find in the energy centers, which are located in specific aspect of our being. So there are 7, like I said, there are 7 major chakra system. There's a root chakra system, there's a sacral chakra system, there's a solar plexus chakra system, the heart chakra system, the throat chakra system, the third eye, the first eye sacral system, and then there's the crown chakra system. Now, each of these chakra system deals with specific aspect of ourselves, and when you look at the topology of how the systems are arranged, you would have the gross reality below and the more subtle reality above. So what I mean by gross reality is the solidity, the free density, 3D reality is mostly found in the bottom chakras, which we call the root chakra. So the root chakra deals with the physical, so does the sacral and the solar plexus, but as you go up the scale, it becomes more and more subtle. So the heart chakra will be kind of like between the physical and the spiritual. And as you could see in this presentation sheet, there's what we call the basic needs, the psychological needs, and the fulfillment needs. If we just briefly just talk about the fulfillment need, you would remember that there are a few personnel or a lot of personnel who take to substances, ingestion of substances like cigarettes and weed and few other stuff. And every time they do that, they do kind of like achieve a sense of self-fulfillment. And this is to do with the organ in our brain, one of the organs in our brain which receive dopamine. And if you look at when I did the study on cigarettes, one of the main aspect of the addiction that is attached to the ingestion of cigarettes is the fact that it does contain dopamine, and dopamine is that chemical that is produced by one of the glands in our brain, one of the organs in our brain. That this chemical, when produced, makes you have that feeling of self-fulfillment, that self-containment, that you're satisfied with your existence, and everything is going fine for you. So this dopamine is created naturally by the organ. And when we tend to try to introduce this dopamine effect from the outside environment, the dopamine effect that we introduce from the outside environment does eventually start to I'll be harsh with this next word, disrupt. It doesn't disrupt, but it tends to disrupt. It's basically like when you go to the gym and you practice and you do gym practices and exercises all the time, your muscles become firm, and that's because you use the muscles every day. When you stop using it, then it starts to build up fat and start going fluffy. So that's the same thing with the pineal gland and the pituitary gland and the hypothalamus gland. That configuration there, where if you exercise it psycho-spiritually all the time, it stays alive. But if you become lazy with it and you want to rely on something from outside, eventually you might eventually stop the production of that substance that we know as dopamine, and you become addictive, and you almost seem like you're stuck on that external production. And it is possible to reverse the effect, but it takes effort and a lot of what's the word I'm looking for here? A lot of courage, to be able to reverse the effect, so that you can now stop wanting to use external means of achieving that self-fulfillment and needs. I don't want to spend too much time on that, because there's quite a few other aspects of this chakra system that I would like to go through, while we're on it now. So if we look at the psychological aspect of the needs, that is mainly between the heart and the solar plexus, and it is deemed as psychological because when you start to speak in the heart chakra language, is almost kind of like between the spiritual and the physical. And that's why you have the in the heart chakra, you have the two triangles. One is facing up and the other one is inverted, and each of those triangles do represent a love aspect. Like the one that is the pyramid form that is facing pointing upward, that's the higher aspect of the love that we know to be love, that we don't know to be love. I will go into that maybe in this topic or maybe in another lesson, because love and the heart chakra, that's a whole different topic and domain. It can take hours to explain that particular aspect of the chakra system. So when you look at the inverted triangle, that is the love that we are accustomed to. That's the one that's the love that we know, the lower aspect love. Let me just remind you here that when I refer to the aspect as lower and higher aspect, I'm not saying that one is better than the other. It's just a matter of explaining the type of energy that works within those triangles. So it's like saying up and down. Up is not better than down, down is not better than up. That's basically what I'm trying to say here. So the lower aspect of love is the love that deals with the conditional aspect of our reality. For example, you would say, oh, I love you because you're my friend. I love you because I love you. I love you because you love me. I love you because you've been there for me. I love you. That because puts a condition. It's not a bad thing. It's just, I'm just explaining that we tend to do this without realizing that there is an aspect of love that we have been so accustomed to, and we fixate on that aspect of love, and we seem not to understand and realize that there is another higher aspect of love, which from which the love feeds into. So that other aspect, higher aspect of love, is the unconditional love. And when we say unconditional, we mean unconditional. Like there is no good, bad, devil. There's no you. That's the devil. You're bad. You're evil. None of that. It's so unconditional that I would say you love. You're supposed to love your enemy. You're supposed to show love to the devil. Show love to the one who took up that experience or that task of being the bad one, being the devil, because nobody wants to be the devil. So for harsh experience or bad experience or difficult experience, when it comes to you, you're supposed to acknowledge, understand, though it's challenging, and still give thanks to the source of that experience, or whoever is the agent for bringing about that harsh experience. So the higher aspect and the lower aspect, they couple together. So they do not they do not actually exist in different form. They are always coupled together. So you will always have the higher and the lower aspect working in unison, working together. So the love comes in and the love goes down. So the love goes up, the love comes down. So it's like it's a rotatory system. The whole of the chakra system is a rotatory system. So I am seen to be focusing more on the heart chakra here and in many other tables, is because it's the center. That is where when you work on, if you're so out of balance, in quote, and you want to find yourself coming back into balance as quickly as you can, the heart chakra is the place to go. If there's a way and there's a secret of, you know, working on the heart chakra, and you will find yourself, you know, coming to balance, you know, in little or no time. Coming to balance, you can also, you know, do the exercises on each of the specific chakras that are affected and per se blocked. When I say blocked, I put it in quote because the chakra is never blocked, it's just clouded. You know, just, you know, just like you have cloud, the sun is always there, but you know, sometimes you have a cloud over the horizon. It doesn't mean that the sun is gone, it just means that there's a cloud. So when there's a cloud in each of these chakras, there are specific activities and specific exercises that you can do to move the cloud, so that, you know, you become more whole. And there is tactics in removing the cloud, you know, from chakras, you know, that are clouded, because it can also cause an uncomfortable imbalance in your psychic if you remove a cloud, you know, from one chakra, and, you know, the other chakras are very, very clouded, you know, because they relate with each other. So you will often find that when a being is blocked, when the chakras are blocked, I still, every time I say blocked, automatically put the quotes there. Every time you see that a being chakra is blocked, most of the time when you assess the system, you find out that it is, you know, dynamically blocked. What I mean by that is that it's not one chakra that is blocked, is a series of chakras that is blocked, because one event and one activity led to another activity, another led to another activity. So when the, you know, solar plexus chakra is affected, for example, by way of resonance, you know, the higher chakra and the lower chakra gets affected, and so those clouds move to each of those chakras that are next to each other, and they, you know, kind of like synchronize across the 7 chakras like that. So you don't get, you hardly get a blocked, you know, root chakra, and then you have it's a bad example, you hardly get a blocked, you know, solar plexus chakra, and you have a root chakra that is clear and a solar plexus chakra that is clear. There will be an effect, you know. So it's mostly effect. The chakras affect each other. It's just like a tuning fork, because it's vibration. You have to remember this. It's like when you have a tuning fork and you strike the tuning fork and it's vibrating and resonating at a specific frequency, and then you bring a next tuning fork next to it without touching it. After a while, you see the tuning fork starts to vibrate in unison. That is by way of resonance. They pick up, they start to align with, you know, align and resonate with the same frequency. That's the same way the, you know, chakra system, you know, tend to present themselves. So you have the solar plexus vibrating at a specific frequency, and the other, you know, the one below it, the sacral chakra, the one above it, the heart chakra, they start to also resonate, you know, in unison with the solar plexus chakras, whereas each of the chakras have their own specific frequency anyway. Even though they have their own specific frequency, but the vibrations of each of the chakra, you know, systems still affect each other. So it blends, it sort of like blends into each other. So it's not separated. It's not like boom, you have the heart chakra, boom, you have the sacral chakra, boom. No, it blends. So it blends, and if you can visualize it, is harmony. It's harmony. So that's another thing that I want to talk about. I'm not sure if I'm going to cover in is something that I speak about a lot. Whenever you see harmony, is an after effect of something else. What is that something else? That something else is, love. So when there's a love strike, so when is the activity that has gone on is love. The activity of love has gone on, and that creates harmony. So the harmony is like, you know, when you have a stone, you throw into a settled water and you see the wave. That wave represents the harmony. So that stone represents the activity of love. So when the action of dropping the stone into the water represents the activity of love. So whenever love strikes, it releases harmony. So whenever you go somewhere, you find harmony, you know that there was or there is love there, basically. So, and this resonance that I speak about is when, if you've noticed, many of you have noticed, when you're around somebody who is, releasing a lot of harmony, eventually you would align with that person and start to harmonize and start to feel that vibration, start to feel harmony. That's why sometimes you around somebody, you around some people, you just feel a certain way because you are around that person. That's that vibration. It can also be the other way around as well, like that the other person can have a lower vibration stronger than the harmony that you bring in, and then it can bring you it can also affect you, I put it in quotes, negatively. I'm trying to present this without having that stigma where you have one thing negative, one thing positive, one thing better, one thing you know worse. There is no good and bad in this. Every aspect of reality is coupled and work together in unison. Yeah, so this presentation does not deal with, oh, you're black, you're white, you're this. We're talking about energies here. The energy is energy. There's no black and white to energy. There's no good and bad. The sun is good to some people and bad to some people, believe it or not. So some people, when they stand under the sun, it causes them harm. And some people, like myself, I stand under the sun. It gives me joy. It gives me energy. It activates a lot of my centers. I start to function more and more like the way I was designed to function. But for some people, it's a different story. I'm not saying that I'm better than. This is not about. I'm just trying to explain the fact that energy is energy, and is what you do with the energy that matters. Yeah, so in my culture, there's Ogun, there's Shango, there's Olokun. These are all archetypes. There's Eshu, there's Legba. So some of these energies, if we take a Legba for example, it is now known by, it's not known, it is now being perceived and believed by many. Legba is evil, Eshu is evil, but that's not the case. There's a whole lot of story. That is a whole different topic, a whole different lecture. I can do on Legba and Legba and Eshu, for example. Is the energy, the Eshu energy, for example, is a very, very pure, concise energy that it needs to be handled with care. Needs to be handled with care. If you are bad, it will make you worse. If you are good, it will make you better. It's sort of like that. So if you are dealing with the energy or the archetype of issue or Elegba, and you dealing with it from a place of love. When I say love, I mean the pure love, not that lower, just the lower aspect love. I mean the coupled love where you're emitting harmony, you're releasing harmony. If you are in that state and you deal with the legba, you will see the power behind it, and you'll be able to conjure that power and use it productively. Now you can use the power of a legba and issue productively to help humanity, to help the universe, to help your environment. See, you can't say that is bad because you're doing good thing with that energy. Check. So this is an example of explaining to you why we're not dealing with bad, good, and that kind of low or high separation, that duality. Yeah. When I talk about, I use duality a lot. When I speak about duality, when I go into that duality aspect, I use it, and we use it, not just me, we use it to explain reality. But reality is more than that, when you go deeper. So where am I now? So yeah, so we're at the dealing with the heart chakras, the energies and the archetypes as an example. So each of these chakras, the 7 chakras, including the other chakras, away from the 7 chakras, they have archetypes, that govern the gateway. So when you take the heart chakra, for example, Hathor is the goddess of love, and Segment was the goddess of love, and then something, there's a whole different story on that. I will do another presentation on the story of the archetypes and stuff, and it's good to know the story, so it does help when you start to use principles to explain energies and explain reality. So the Segment would be the one that now governs the lower triangle, and Hathor governs the higher aspect triangle, and they couple together. So that's why you hear, oh, tough love. Tough love is Segment, for example. So when say for example during ceremony, for example, let's just say for example during ceremony you're dealing with a situation, and there's an obstruction to a healing process, and there's archetypes. Believe it or not, archetypes can play out of order. There are archetypes that are playing out of order. You can send Segment to clear that archetype to go and do his job. Boom, 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 boom. That's tough love. And then the other aspect of love, which is the Hathor love, is the other one that is kind of like motherly, and the one that we seem to attach to a lot. So the two of them together, they work their magic. So each of these chakra energy centers, they are governed by archetypes. So there are archetypes for the root chakra, for the sacral chakra. There's archetypes for, I think the root chakra would be more a legba and issue, and they should connect the root chakra to the other chakras as well. That's a whole different let's not go into that now. So I would do another, I might do another presentation where I would talk about the gateways, the chakra gateways, and the archetypes that are connected to the chakra gateway. But for now, this one-on-one, I don't want to go too deep before I start losing many of you. So the chakra system are also linked to the physical system. Obviously they are linked to the physical system. It is the endocrine system there's the endocrine system, there's the exocrine system. The endocrine system is almost like a, you know, esoteric, illusional aspect of, you know, the human reality that is, I call it esoteric. I put a tag esoteric because it's close to, you know, getting the information from the DNA. So when the instructions comes from the DNA, you know, and it's you know, turn into protein, and then the protein turn, you know, does its magic, and there's chemical messages, and the chemical messages now comes, you know, through to the organs and the glands and the organs, and this process is really a process that to be admired. I say this because you see the connectivity between how the energies are transmuted, you know, from esoteric into esoteric reality. So there's organs, you know, and there are organs connected to you know, each of the chakras. Like for example, the ovaries, testes, you know, related. I won't say connected. Related is a better word. Are related to the root chakra. The adrenals are related to the sacral chakra. The pancreas is related to the solar plexus chakra. The thymus gland is related to the heart chakra. The thyroid gland is related to the throat chakra. The pituitary gland is related to the first eye or the third eye chakra, and then the pineal gland is related to the, you know, the pineal gland is related to the crown chakra. And you know, why am I talking about this? The reason why I'm talking about this is, you know, I do chakra reading, I do chakra healing. You know, I can connect to you, I can tell you, you know, situations with your chakras, and you know, how to catch it before it becomes a physical problem. You know, what do I mean by physical problem? You know, all illnesses, you know, are divine, you know, divine detection system, you know, for your behaviorism. You know, when you start to misbehave, you know, the message comes through the, you know, the chakras, and they start to hit the organs that are related to that chakra, and you have a lot of time to deal with it, and then, you know, then it can clear. And if you keep on ignoring it, eventually it will manifest as a physical ailment, as a physical, you know, discomfort, you know, just to grab your attention. It's the universe way of grabbing your attention and saying, hey, you are messing up your system. Your system, you know, your behavior is messing up your system, and you need to pay attention. You know, when it comes physically, when that disalignment comes physically, when it starts to manifest in the physical, like as pimples, cancer, the universe definitely has got your attention now. So, you know, at that point, you know, it becomes very, very difficult, because you have gone so too far into the disalignment. But it's still possible to heal, you know, and to reverse the effect and to come back into alignment. But, you know, this is just an example, you know, that, you know, when you have issues, when you have behavior that needs to be corrected, you should be, you know, it is advisable for you to always catch it on time, so that you can correct it on time before it becomes a physical manifestation. Some physical manifestation is easy to clear, and some is difficult to clear, you know. So, you know, yes, I do, you know, chakra, you know, readings and stuff. There are sometimes, you know, clients, they will contact me, and, you know, I'll connect to them, connect to their system, connect to their chakra system, and I see a lot of stuff that's going on within the chakra system. It's all activities of the archetypes, activities of the archetypes and how they behave and respond to those archetypes. So you would have humans interacting with humans, having different activities, having different programs. All humans are a form of agents for these programs, a form of agents. So one of the main things, experiences, and one of the main challenges that we tend to have is with the lower chakras, where I always say to my patients or my clients, look past the agent, and look at the message that the universe is trying to relay to you. Because if you get stuck with the agent, uh, you most probably will be ignoring the message, and you'll be dealing with the agent. That's one confusion that humans have been stuck on for centuries and decades and God knows what. So you look past the agent. Even I myself get caught up in this sometimes. You look past the agent, and then you can see the energy behind the agent. So we're dealing with the good and bad again. So when you know that the message that is being relayed to you by the universe is actually for your own good, then why should you be tagging the agent evil or bad, or any of those? Instead, you should be saying, thank you, agent, for delivering this message, for delivering this letter, basically. So it's a practice that we have also in ceremonies where we blow tobacco into the vomit, and we give thanks before we flush it down, or flush it down the toilet, or throw it away. So it is basically understand. When you start to understand the system, your system, and how it works and why it works, you will start to progress more harmoniously, basically. I don't want to say more swiftly, because there is no rush, there's no hurry, we're not going anywhere. This is just a dynamic experience, per se. So there are affirmations, that you can, say, and there are also frequencies that you can strike. And when you do these activities, they tend to resonate, the chakras back into alignment. So different chakras have their own different frequency, for example, and the root chakra, I can't remember the frequency off the top of my head, but each of the chakras have specific frequency. And when you are used to take something called a G string application, and strike the frequency, and you actually see the reading of the frequency to make sure that the frequency that you're striking belongs to a particular designated chakra that you try to work on. So you can take some some tune, and play the tune on repeat, and it will strike that that particular chakra, as long as it's the particular frequency that's then designated for that chakra. So if you ever find that one chakra is way out of balance, which is rare, out of balance in line with the other chakras, that's when you use that practice where you strike frequency to bring that balance to bring that chakra into balance. I say rare, it is not that rare, because when that situation happens, if you leave it for long enough, that's when you start to get physical manifestation, in a discomforting way. because it has been left for too long without, fixing. You get pimples or cancer or boil or all sort of physical manifestations that can come up. These are all messages. You can trace this. There's a way you trace it back, trace this physical manifestation back to where the source of the issue is, and the source of the nature of the behavior that created that manifestation, so that you can now say to your clients, this is the behavior, you need to change this behavior, or you need to align this behavior so that this physical manifestation can now be cleared. Because most of the time you will clear the physical manifestation, the behavior is still there, the physical manifestation will re-manifest itself again. But when you clear the behavior, then the physical manifestation, when you now clear the physical manifestation, it does not come back again, because there's no reason for the physical manifestation to be there anymore. There's nothing striking that chord to reproduce that physical manifestation. I hope you understand. If you don't, you can leave a message in the comment, or find a way to track me down through the sites that I'll be sharing, and I will explain to you in a deeper manner. So we're talking about how to balance, bring the chakras into balance, healing methods basically. So we also have associated stones. You can sleep with these stones. You can put the stones in the water and drink the water after a while. You can do all sort of things with the stones. Each of these stones again have the archetypes that govern the gateway to the universe. Each of the stones are massive universes. Even though you hold it in your hand, this is not about size. You are holding universes. It's a universe in its own. So there are archetypes and beings and all sort of reality in one particular stone, and it's not dead. So you can speak to these entities. You can speak to these beings and speak to this reality. So you can request healing and balance to the beings in the universe and in that universe, and they will bring about the balance. They're happy to bring about the balance, because your healing is also their healing. We're all connected. So each of these stones have archetypes and gods or deity governing the gates. And when you speak to the gods, when you converse with the gods, it's almost like having that relationship. By relating to the gods, you are opening up yourself to that gateway, and then therefore opening up the channel through which the healing and the balance will come through. So this is the reason why you would mantra gods, or do specific rituals for this gods to be activated and stuff. Like for Hathor, for example, I can have the pyramid sitting somewhere, and focusing on the pyramid and doing stuff with the pyramid, because it's a higher aspect, and Hathor is what is the goddess who deals with that aspect and who governs. I'm opening up myself to it, and then therefore opening up the healing prospect to the universe of the heart chakra. So this is there are many ways of activating chakras in many activities, and this is just one of it. And the second one I'm describing to you, probably the third one I'm describing to you in this presentation. So we are going to pour libation, and give thanks and notification to the gods and the archetypes. Some of the gods and the archetypes. There's so many of them, millions of them, thousands of them. Asa, Ashe, Asis, Ashe, Aset, Ashe, Setuk, Ashe, Nefit, Ashe, Tehuti, Ashe, Ra, Ashe, Amun-Ra, Ashe, Amun, Ashe, Nefertiti, Ashe, Hafor, Ashe, Heru, Ashe, Sekhmet, Ashe, Nut, Ashe, Geb, Ashe, Atum, Ashe. Atum is the Hermetic principle deals with Atum a lot. So the most of the story that was said about the Hermetic principle, a lot of the principles and the concept and stuff, is dealing with the archetype, the god Atum. I will do a separate. I might do a separate presentation on that. Talking about the Hermetic principles and stuff is actually a masculine. Let me not call it masculine. It's a father principle. There's a mother principle to it, but it's a father principle. And a father principle is a father principle that is in some related to the mother principle, but it's a father principle. I will, when I do, if I get to do that presentation, I will explain that, a little further. So moving on, Tefnut, Ashe, Shu, Ashe, Amut, Ashe, Jesu, Ashe, Angel Michael, Ashe, Angel Uriel, Ashe, Angel Gabriel, Ashe, Angel Raphael, Ashe, Aya, Ashe. Aya is the mother, the divine great mother. I'm in great relationship with her. It's also an aspect of Virgin Mary. Yeah, in case you don't know that already. Tabaquina, Ashe, Tobacco, Ashe, Krishna, Ashe, Allah, Ashe, Mohammed, Ashe, Buddha, Ashe, Buddha, Ashe, Ptah, Ashe, Anubis, Ashe, Baset, Ashe, Amon, Ashe, Imhotep, Ashe, Amut, Ashe, Olokun, Ashe, Shango, Ashe, Ogun, Ashe, Obatala, Ashe, Oya, Ashe, Mami Water, Ashe, Divine Mother, Divine Father, Divine Holy Spirit, our ancestors, Ashe, Divine Holy Spirit, Divine Mother, Divine Father. Divine Father, Ashe, Divine Mother, Ashe, Divine Holy Spirit, Ashe, our ancestors, Ashe. So now we're going to lead you, and let's take a walk, take a mission together into Chakra 101. Do some reading, 5 minutes reading, and then we'll be back and we shall continue the study into deeper aspects. Eventually, try to go into 102, Chakra 102.
Welcome to this Chakra Class 101. Today, we will explore the science behind and in front of the chakra system that forms the basis of our existence. This content is presented by Chaosnature. Please support and subscribe. Let's begin with chakra symbols. There are 7 major chakras that run along the spine, from our navel to the crown of our head. By activating these chakras, we can align our inner world. Each energy center has a unique symbol representing its specific qualities and energies. Today, we'll be covering the following topics: the symbolism of the chakras, the 7 chakra symbols, the root chakra symbol and its meaning, the sacral chakra symbol and its meaning, the solar plexus chakra symbol and its meaning, the heart chakra symbol and its meaning, the throat chakra symbol and its meaning, the third eye chakra symbol and its meaning, the crown chakra symbol and its meaning. Our chakra symbols are sacred and carry spiritual meanings. The word chakra comes from Sanskrit, meaning wheel, and it refers to the physical or spiritual energy in the human body. When life force energy moves freely through the body, the chakras spin, allowing individuals to reach a state of pure consciousness. Each chakra is symbolized by imagery, geometric shapes, colors, and Sanskrit letters. Let's explore the meanings behind each one. Symbolism of the chakras. The first 5 main chakras correlate with the elements fire, water, earth, ether, and air. Each chakra is surrounded by lotus flower petals, with the number of petals representing specific attributes of that chakra. Chakra colors follow the rainbow, starting from the base of the spine and moving upward. The 7 chakra symbols. Let's explore the individual meanings of each chakra symbol. The root chakra symbol meaning. The root chakra represents grounding and is connected to the earth element. Four-petaled lotus represents 4 areas of consciousness: mind, intellect, consciousness, and ego. The square symbolizes stability and foundational energy. Inverted triangle represents consciousness and the connection between the elements. Red, this color symbolizes security, power, and control. Hematite, this mineral nourishes one's roots and provides grounding energy. The sacral chakra symbol meaning. The sacral chakra symbolizes fluidity, movement, and creativity. 6-petaled lotus represents overcoming negative emotions like jealousy and anger. Circles represents the cyclical nature of life and the water element. Crescent moon symbolizes cycles, change, and movement. Orange represents sexuality, creativity, and aliveness. Tiger's eye, this stone helps balance the sacral chakra. The solar plexus chakra symbol meaning. The solar plexus chakra represents energy, power, and the fire element. 10-petaled lotus symbolizes the 10 life forces within us. Inverted triangle represents the downward flow of energy. Yellow reflects self-worth, confidence, and personal power. Amber helps reduce self-doubt and harness confidence. The heart chakra symbol meaning. The heart chakra symbolizes love and connection, associated with the air element. 12-petaled lotus represents divine qualities like compassion, empathy, and love. 6-pointed star represents the union of masculine and feminine energies. Green symbolizes healing, growth, and giving. Rose quartz, this stone is deeply connected to the healing of the heart. The throat chakra symbol meaning. The throat chakra represents communication and expression, connected to the ether element. 16-petaled lotus symbolizes the vowels of Sanskrit, related to sound and speech. Inverted triangle represents the upward flow of energy. Blue symbolizes truth, calmness, and intelligence. Blue lace agate, a stone that circulates energy for better communication. The third eye chakra symbol meaning. The third eye chakra is associated with intuition and wisdom. 2-petaled lotus represents the spiritual connection between self and higher consciousness. Inverted triangle represents the awakening of the pineal gland. Indigo or purple, these colors symbolize higher wisdom and intuition. Amethyst and lapis lazuli, stones that support the third eye chakra. The crown chakra symbol meaning. The crown chakra represents spiritual connection and transformation. 1,000-petaled lotus symbolizes unity with the divine and the universe. Circle represents infinite and cyclical nature, just like energy. Violet/white, these colors represent enlightenment and spirituality. Clear quartz, a stone that helps in connecting with higher powers. For more content, check out the link below. creative-digitaldownloads.com. Thanks for watching.
Right, so glad you made it back from that short 5 minutes plus introduction to chakra. I hope you cultivated as much as you could, and if you didn't, you can replay it and pause and study it. There's quite a lot of information within those screenshots. I would imagine that they were passing by very quickly. But like I said, you can pause it and do some more studies and investigation yourself. And by you just actually doing that, by you doing taking on activities of any aspect of the chakras, you are actually connecting, activating that aspect of the chakra and bringing it back, bringing it to life, and bringing yourself, your whole being to life. So that's the thing with the chakra system. When you start to work on the chakra system, you are actually coming back to life. You will even it's something that you feel. So this is not like, oh, this is a metaphysical spiritual thing. It's something that you actually feel. It's a psycho spiritual thing. So when I say psycho spiritual, because it deals with your psychic, and you can actually see the results. You will be the judge of your own experiment and your own. I do a lot of experiment myself with the chakra system, and I see results. um just a second. Right, so yeah, I was saying, when you actually do these exercises, then you're coming back to life. And I do a lot of experiment with myself, and I can pick on a chakra and work on it, and I actually see results and stuff. So um not to make this too long, um what I would be going through in chakra version 102 would be a couple of points. So I'm going to be picking up each of the chakras, and then we'll be talking, uh, going deeper into each of the into these chakra aspects. And for each of the chakra, I'll talk about the angels and archetypes, that guide the gates, look after the dimension. We'll be talking about the astrological planets, you know, that affects the chakras, and therefore also the archetypes, because each of the planets will, have an archetype, governing, you know, um, the planet, and therefore the chakras. I will also be talking about the behaviorism that is attached to each of the chakras, which is very important. Each you have different aspect of behaviorism. When they say you have multiple personality, and you sometimes want to shy away from the fact that you have multiple personality, and for some reason it's seen as a negative thing, but it's not really a negative thing. you know it's just, how do you manage these multiple personalities, and which personality do you want to focus on. So you know we are born with multiple personalities, but we're seen to be forced, and we're taught to be forced to focus on one personality, and that personality seems to like be the personality that everyone has accepted and the society has accepted. And then when you have other personality, you try to block it off and never access it. But these are all aspects of yourself which you should be free to explore and visit. So I'll be going deeper into those behaviorism and sensations and feelings and frequencies. Each of the chakras uh, do have frequencies attached to it. These frequencies, I've listed them in on chatafrica.com. um, I'm not sure if I think let's see if I can just yeah, quickly show you. So the if you remember, I did talk about the article that I wrote 20 years ago, 20 years plus ago, on the chakra system, and is on chatafrica.com as well. You just go to articles, and I think it's the first article there, and it's got a few more information. I'll come back to this page just to read a little bit on this for you. And I think the chakra frequencies are listed somewhere. Yeah, there you go. So these are the chakra frequencies that I said I could not remember. So you see the root chakra is 396, the sacral chakra is 417, and the solar plexus chakra is 528, the heart chakra frequency is 639, throat chakra is 741, and the third eye chakra is 852, and the crown chakra is 963. I have the sound associated with these frequencies, so you can strike the sounds and use it as a form of healing. And these are actually solfeggio, solfeggio frequencies, and the ancient frequencies. How we used to strike the sound. So it came down the line from decades and you know decades and decades, during the Egyptian era, the Kemet era. I don't like to use the Egypt when you say Egyptian, it's too recent, and we're talking about a different set of people during the Kemet, era. So it's come down from that era and it's managed to survive its way. you know uh, I think I put a little bit of some notes here to explain a little bit of frequency, and I think there is more content somewhere else. So like I said, going back to the chakra. So I did say that I'll be talking about the fifth one. I'll be talking about is the endocrine system, and this goes into part two of the endocrine system, but I'm not going to be covering that on this video because this video is quite lengthy now. I think it's over an hour now. Just to quickly go through some of the content. Said the chakra is a collection of portals which stand between the physical and the spiritual realm of construct. Right. So 1 second. Let me just move this window out of the way. I think somebody was knocking on the door, and yeah. So yeah, just like the smoke from your locomotive exhaust pipe, if you have one the reaction between the spirit dimension and the physical dimension dissipates an aura when activities take place between those two realms and creation. uh, an aura Sorry, let me read that again. A chakra is a collection of portal which stands between the physical and the spiritual realm of construct. Just like the smoke from your locomotive exhaust pipe, if you have one, the reaction between the spirit dimension and the physical dimension dissipates an aura when activities take place between these two realms of creation. So we're talking about the spiritual realm and the physical realm. An aura is an energy signature which tends to display the end product of our behaviorism, the catalytic or driving determinate the driving the catalytic or driving determinate of our behaviorism is usually a combination of communication of exoteric with esoteric information, or put in simple, a present and past interaction of activities. I will explain as we proceed. I'll put it in brackets. So the esoteric phenomena and the exoteric phenomena, I go into it in part two. And the exoteric phenomena is mostly to do with the endocrine system and the physical system that is attached to the endocrine system, like the glands and then the organs. You see, when you talk about glands and organ is now a musical instrument, because originally in our body, and still is, will always be, the organ is a musical instrument. It plays the music of life. So each of the organs plays when the music is now out of tune, and you start to get illness and diseases and stuff, which is now played, which would be played by the manifestation. The endocrine system is usually the part of the physiological system that relays the esoteric information from the soul. The exocrine system on the other hand, is usually the part of the physiological system that relays the exoteric information back to the soul through the DNA construct. Remember, I told you that just like you have instructions from the DNA, building the proteins in your body, and then using the proteins to build other stuff like the organs and the glands and other stuff, and then also from there getting your chemical messages, which comes in form of hormones, male hormones, female hormones, and different type of hormones for different, all of that is instructions that was written from the DNA. And we have unique instructions for each personality. You also write back, like I said before, back into the DNA, so your experiences. And that is basically what you would be answering to yourself, to God, to Anubis and stuff, when you going through the transitional time. And this is my report card, this is what I did in this lifetime and stuff. And I did talk about you know you not learning something new every day. And if you don't learn something new every day, if you don't the day that you don't learn something new, you have not lived. So I'm not going to go repeating myself, because then it just makes it longer than it's supposed to be. There exists different type of signatures for different type of behaviorism, and different kind of ancestors. I'm just checking to see that I'm actually recording, because I did a 39 minutes video talking to myself, like it's just pictures and no sound. So there's a lot of information that was in there, because when I do this presentation, when I do these metaphysical lectures, most of this content comes from the spirit world, because I'm connected to the spirit. And they bring down, some content comes from the brain, which was deposited there by the spirit, and some are streams. So when I want to repeat the same thing again, it's almost impossible. So I have to do a reconnect, and therefore some data get lost. So there exists different type of signatures from different type of behaviorism and different kind of ancestors. What this means is that we would expect an ancestor of war, for example, to enter or live through a plane of discipline that we refer to as the root chakra. And you know that the root chakra will be dealing with war anyway. It's a gross reality where we deal with war is to do with survival. It's to do with, oh, this is my territory, my this, my that, my that. Yeah. So there you go. Again, you would expect ancestors of information and intelligence to filter through the throat chakra. Tehuti Kemetic mythology, etc., is an example of, you know, uh, uh, you know, Tehuti would be for the throat chakra. He will govern the intelligence and the Ifa. Excuse me. So this would start to make sense to you we uh, when we complete the discussion of chakra in the later writings, which I said I'm not going to go into. I will try and stop myself, because I know I'm in the flow and I might just want to jump, but I will try and stop myself. Just a little bit paragraph to be read here. So chakra mapping involves aligning and observing different type of illness to its behaviorism and to its corresponding DNA coding pattern. I told you that I'll be talking about behaviorism in chakra study 102. There are 7 major chakras. Although there exists more than 7 chakras, but we will be focusing on the 7 chakras. These chakras are attributed to other 7 major glands and 7 major human physiological constructs. The chakra system interact with the body through the endocrine and the nervous system. The glands that make up the endocrine system receive information from the esoteric realm. Glands are made up of group of specialized receptor cells. Each of the 7 chakras is associated with nerves, the particular part of the body and the particular function within the body controlled by that plexus or that endocrine. gland associated with the chakra. All parts of the body can be sectioned into 7 major chakras, and these 7 major chakras can also be mapped to 7 major glands, like we stated before. When we when when we feel a certain way, depending on the frequency of the thoughts, it is reflected on the corresponding gland and thus to the corresponding organ and part of the body. Every chakra portal has its specific resonating frequency. These are frequency these are the frequency a particular ancestors has to match to use a particular portal as a gateway into the DNA through the nerves ending into the blood and the signal solution carrier to the organ. So basically what I'm explaining in that paragraph is that you know you if you tap into that frequency, if you manage to tune into that frequency, you'll be basically talking to the archetype, the ancestor that is responsible for that gateway, for that particular chakra gateway. And the reverse technology on this, I don't want to use the word technology, the reverse idea of this is that if you now do some work that involves a certain archetype or god or whatever you want to call it, you're striking that frequency because you're mingling in that frequency zone, that frequency dimension, and then you're opening up that frequency and you're opening up that chakra. So you can see that this is the reason why you would be working on one particular frequency, one particular chakra at a particular time. Yeah, you can work on more than one chakra at a particular time, but it is easier to deal with when you do it. Say today, I say I want to deal with the root chakra, and then you'll be dealing with that archetype, that god, on that particular day. Otherwise, it can become confusing unless you are you're doing a spiritual party where you have all the archetypes, dancing, and activating and all that. But yeah, I said I will stop myself. Yeah, so yeah, we'll be going into deeper into those. There's a lecture that I did a night before. Is going to play after this, so listen up. So, if we just go over what we uh, have been speaking about and what we've been learning, um, picking on the endocrine system and its relationship with the chakra system. Uh, a summary of it is that the root chakra, uh, the gland for the body parts that is related to that, is the testicles and the vagina. So basically, when, for example, you want to, find out, what's going on in that aspect of your reality, based on the manifestation that is showing up as a dysfunction, you can link, that dysfunction back. Yeah, I said this before, and trace it back to, you know, uh, your behaviorism, um, and find out where you need to be making alterations. If you need to be making alterations, you could be having, you know you could be uh, having problems with your testicles because for example uh, you're displaced in your relationship, and your survival, and your survival instinct and stuff is disturbed. And that could be, there's so many, it could be any many of those reasons in that you know in that dimension. So that's to do with that dimension. And the sacral chakra would be taste, So that's why it's to do with feelings and emotions and stuff. When you eat ice cream, you feel. Oh, for my one of my weaknesses is chocolate. I feel like the taste and stuff and all that. It is sometimes can become too much and become dysfunctional, and so you have to. No, too much of it is not good, and too less of it is not good. So you have to just find that middle ground. And when you talk about the solar plexus, for example, the site, you know, uh, the gland for that is. By the way, the gland, the body parts for the sacral chakra is the kidney. So you watch your urine, you watch your kidney. You know, if you have start to have issues with your kidney, that is something to do with your sacral chakra behavior resume that you need to revisit and check up. And then for the solar plexus you have the pancreas, and again if you have issues coming out through the pancreas, then you can trace it. But you see, this is an intelligent design, and when you go into each of these glands, you will find out the nature correlates with the energy that it's related to. The energy in terms of, like the pancreas, for example, relating to the solar plexus. When you study it deeply, when I studied it deeply many years ago, it was almost like I was in it, and I could almost see with my other eye, how the design was made up, fairly, not, deeply, like fairly how the design was made up. Um, and I did appreciate it, and I did record it. I think some of the articles came out of that appreciation. It's in chartafrica.com in the chakras section of it as well. There are more information in that chakra article that I wrote 20 years ago that are not in this, you know, uh, um, version of the presentation that I'm doing today. And then when you talk about the heart chakra, for example, the body parts for that is the lungs, and it does make sense for the body parts to be lungs, because the is the flow in out. When you talk about those two triangles, the two triangles that you know uh, the heart chakra represent, the pyramid one, the one facing up, is probably when you breathe in energy from the higher dimensions, and from God, from divine, and then you breathe out to the lower aspect, uh, you know, lower aspect triangle, and that flow, in and out flow, you know, is what connects earth to heaven, heaven to earth, as above so below. you know so yeah, so lungs is responsible for that. When you have breathing problems, you start to have problems, then you probably should be checking how you managing your love aspect. Are you giving too much love, or are you giving too less love? Again, it can be either way. So, and when we talk about the throat chakra, the body parts, the gland for that is the thyroid. And um, the thyroid, um, just to give you a little background on the thyroid, a little aspect on the thyroid. They say the thyroid is a gland. The thyroid gland is a small butterfly-shaped gland in the neck, just in front of the windpipe. So you see it's around the throat chakra, region. And one of its main functions is to produce hormones that help regulate the body's metabolism, the process of turning food into energy. So you see that's you're going into the ether reality now. where you're dealing with energy, you're turning food into energy, for example. It says, and we know that eating is a form of communication, and when you do eat, you're supposed to be able to communicate with that thing that you've ingested and know what time it is based on what you have eaten, what you have ingested. When the sun, the father, aspect projects, the code, into the plant, and the plants, formulate the code through photosynthesis. And when we now ingest that photosynthesized plant after product, you're supposed to be able to decode your body system with your along with your consciousness, supposed to be able to decode that ingested, photosynthesized material, so that you can now understand what the father principle is relating, and how the father principle is relating to the mother principle. And then you understand your being by understanding that. And this is how we used to know how, it comes through the etheric system. Know how to move with time, move with season, know where to be, at the right time in the right place. Earthquake hits, and tornadoes and all that stuff, but it never catches us. Just like the birds are able to, flocks together and with seasons, and knowing when the seasons, you know, the seasons are changing from, in against their favor and stuff. Also, humans, used to be able to do that. We were nomadic originally. Nomadic. It's just today, we kind of like static, just like the time, the numbers and the clock, you know, that is representing our reality at the moment is stuck. I don't think this is permanent. You know, even I'm speaking from here. I can't imagine me not having one location. I can't imagine me being uh, uh, thrown away from my house and say, "Oh, okay, and become nomadic again." It's a process. We got here through a process. It will take process to unlearn this static reality where we are having our house, paying mortgage. This is my house. This is my this. This is my that. All that stock vibration. It's a process before we can yank ourselves out of it and go back to the nomadic, situations that we used to uh, be in. So you know the 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 energy that we are decoding from the planet, and the union of the planet, and the mother and the father that we ingested, we understand it, and we are dynamic with it, and then we're moving with it in a harmonious. It's about harmony. Like our true nature is harmony. We're harmonic. So when changes come harmonically. So changes will come harmonically. So there's nothing to fear. That it's just going to be drastic, and this is a no. We are going to move harmonically into the next vibration, into the next, reality. So enough of that for the root chakra. And then for the throat chakra. And then on the third eye, or the first eye chakra, the body part, there is eye. And again, it makes sense that is the eye. And when we come to look at this picture, for example, where you say illusion, it say is blocked by illusion, and then deals with insights. The column on the right is supposed to represent the positive aspect, and the column on the left is supposed to represent the positive aspect, and the column on the right is supposed to represent the negative aspect. However, when you look at it, we are all kind of blocked. Again, I talked about blockages, and when every time I say block, you put it in quotes because it's never blocked, because what it is actually is there's cloud. There's cloud over our vision. There's cloud over. So when you say chakra is blocked, it's not really blocked. There's a cloud over the chakra system. And just like you have the sun up there and there's cloud, and the sun doesn't get through the cloud, and if it looks like a dull day, it doesn't mean that the sun is not there. The sun is there, it's just that there's cloud. It's just same thing with the chakra. Like there will be a cloud in the, between your focus and the the particular chakra in question. And you can move the cloud by doing certain activity, by taking on certain activities and doing certain things. So when you want to move the illusion, there's certain activities and certain actions that we do. I have done that before, and I almost went crazy when I was in London many years ago. uh, I remove the illusion. I see this is another thing that I spoke about again. Like when you're working on the chakras, it's supposed to be in unison. You don't just boom, 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 clear one cloud, and when this is still cloudy and this is still cloudy, you have to do it in successions. So this is why this study was a mystery system. It's a mystery system, not because they were hiding information. It's because they were wary of releasing the information for people who will misuse it and cause themselves more damage than good. So that's why it was originally in school systems onto this information age where everything is not out there in the open, but we're still guided by our consciousness, to either not see the material or see the material when we're ready to see the material. So I hope I'm making sense. So the illusion. So when we say, many of us, when I say to many people that, and many of us too say it's not just me, oh, this is an illusion. We don't really understand what we're saying when we say this is an illusion. It is an illusion. You don't see past this illusion. And that's because you are not seeing with your third or your first eye. You're seeing with your physical eye. You're seeing with your physical eye. So many of us see, including myself, see with the physical eyes. Only once in a while, sometimes I do remove the cloud, and then if I want to see more, with the spiritual eye, but many of us are still, again I put it in quote, many of us are blocked, because we only see the physical. You look at a stone and all you see is a stone. You forget. I know this through study now, but I've still not remembered how the stone binds together. But scientifically, you can break it down and see all the elements and all the all the elements that make up the stones and stuff. But when you when you really really break it down, you find out that the stone or the chair, the wood that you're sitting on is not really physical. They are actually energies, energies that intersect each other. There's energies vibrating and vibrating, and because there's millions, zillions, and uncountable number of cross section and intersection. Where it makes the intersection, that's where it becomes physical. That's why it looks like it's physical. Because when there's now intersection, then it's now forming, it's not behaving and forming as if is a solid, solid material. In actual reality, is energy, is just force field. So when you look at the stone, is force field zipped together, through minds. Yeah, I don't want to go into that because that will pull me into hermetic principle, pull me into hermetic study. Hermetic study and hermetic principle is going to be either another video or a different class. I might not even do a video on the method because it goes so deep, you know, it's not something that you really want to deal with, from in the illusional reality of virtual reality, so when we talk about illusion, basically what I'm trying to say is that, what they're saying when they say it's blocked is that you're not seeing past the physical. So many of us now are waking up and we're seeing past the physical. We see energies behind the physical. We see the signature behind, particular physical and stuff. That's when you're training to do it. So we're still far behind, but we're taking the step. And then when we now talk about we talk about the glands, the crown chakra gland. That's the pineal. So the pineal, I think many of us now know what the pineal function is. So it is a gland that collects and attracts information. I don't want to call it information. It attracts energy from the higher realm, from coming from Atum, coming from God, the divine Holy Spirit, and you know that's why you see the arrow here, you know, brings it down, bringing the energy down, and then this arrow here in the heart chakra is, sending back to the higher aspect, divine God, our relationship, our reports for say. So we send back reports as well. So that's the thing. Many in the conventional science, it is known that instructions come from the DNA, but it's not very widely known, or I don't even know if it's known at all, that you write back into your DNA. So you write back into your DNA, and that's how you form your experience, so that the next lifetime when you come, your experience in this lifetime can be played out in the other in the next lifetime, as instructions through your DNA. So just like the instructions are taken from DNA to build the protein and build the body and build the chemical messages and reality and stuff, the same way, writing back your experience. This is the reason why I said the day that you live and you don't learn something new, you have not lived that day, because you have not written anything back to the book. So your purpose really is zero for that day. And I mentioned that is a waste of cells. Cells that replicated and died that day is just a waste. And I also mentioned that is linked to the reason why we fall ill, and we transition earlier than we're supposed to transition, basically. So yeah, so that's just going through. Sometimes, for example, you look at these lies, and then you look at these lies in the throat chakra, is in a negative column. And when you link off, you can see that sometimes it's linked to the lower aspect vibration, where because you have to survive, you lie. So for example, the IT business that I'm in, I'm using it to survive, and there's quite a lot of lie, apart from the fact that virtual reality is a lie. Okay, I would do something else on that. I know. Apart from the fact that virtual reality is a lie, um, the amount of lie that we have to tell there just because we want to survive. We're scared that if we don't tell that lie, we're not going to survive. We're not going to, keep our physical. We're not going to make money. We're not going to do all that stuff. Then we lie. And so you will see that because you're doing this kind of job, you're blocking, you're putting cloud over, your truth. And because you're putting cloud over your truth, that affects, the your vision, and that also can affect your love, the way you resonate love, and that would also affect, your sensation. You don't you're craving for too much sugar, you're craving for that, you're craving for this because you're lacking. Because you see what I'm trying to say here is they are linked. I made an example that you have a tuning fork and you vibrate the tuning fork and you put a tuning fork next to it. By way of resonance, this tuning fork starts to vibrate in unison, and they start to unify themselves to have the same frequency. Though it's not exactly the same with the chakras, because the chakras have specific frequency, but the vibrations of one chakra affects the one above and the one below, whilst keeping their frequency, whilst preserving their frequency. But it affects it. So if this starts to vibrate in a certain way where it's gathering cloud, that cloud will affect this chakra. So you start to have cloud gathering here and cloud gathering here if you do nothing about it. Anyway, this is becoming a long video. To be honest with you, I don't mind how long it is because I'm not dealing with time here. What time is it? It says it's almost 3 o'clock, but I really don't care. I'm in my own time zone. I'm just trying to cover up what I want to cover up, and I think I've covered enough, and I would take a break, give it a break.
Find your links in the description below. Don't forget to support and subscribe. Chaosnature.